There are battles that end when the last enemy falls, and there are battles that refuse to stay buried. Some time ago, Jorgrim stormed one of the strongest bandit fortresses in Aldor. Its leaders were slain, its ranks were broken. But not everyone fell that day. A handful escaped, long enough to disappear, long enough to find one another again. Now, under a new leader, those same survivors have rebuilt what was once destroyed. Once again, merchants disappear from the roads. Once again, villages live in fear. Once again, Aldor calls for someone willing to finish what others cannot. For Jorgrim, this is not another contract. It is unfinished work. After everything he has endured, after every road he has walked, he has no intention of leaving it unfinished a second time. The old dwarf prepares for another journey, perhaps his last. Not to prove who he is, but to protect the place that finally became his home. Jorgrim knew exactly what awaited him behind those walls. He had already fought these men once. He remembered their tactics, their discipline, and the way they tried to overwhelm their enemies through numbers and coordination. But this time, he was not the same warrior who had entered that fortress before. The Berserker state that once demanded constant focus had become something far more natural. No longer a force he needed to consciously unleash. No longer a storm that threatened to consume him. Years of battle had turned it into instinct, experience, muscle memory, and countless life or death encounters had shaped a new fighting style around him. Every movement flowed into the next without hesitation. Every opening was recognized before it fully appeared. And for the first time since leaving Fjall, Jorgrim entered a battlefield without uncertainty. He was not improvising anymore. He was controlling the fight. Controlling the pace. Controlling each duel exactly the way he wanted. And so, one duel became another. One room led to the next. Jorgrim continued his advance through the fortress with the same calm determination that only years of battle could forge. Every opponent fought differently. Some relied on brute strength, others on discipline, others on speed. But experience had taught Jorgrim that every fighting style had a weakness. And he had learned how to find it. Very little could still catch him by surprise. When it did, he adapted. Not through luck, not through instinct alone, but through countless lessons paid for in blood. Every exchange became another reminder of how far he had come. The battlefield no longer dictated the fight. Jorgrim did. Only a handful of battles remained before the first floor of the fortress was finally cleared. Below, the real challenge awaited. The strongest warriors had gathered in the lower halls, protecting their leader until the very end. Jorgrim knew what was coming, but he had no reason to change the way he fought. His answer had always been the same. Anyone willing to challenge him would find their duel. Anyone who struck him would receive an even stronger blow in return. It was more than confidence. It was the philosophy that had carried him through every battlefield since leaving Fjall. And Jorgrim had no intention of abandoning it now. As expected, the battles grew far more demanding on the lower floor. The warriors waiting there were stronger, more disciplined, and far less willing to give ground. But that only fueled Jorgrim's desire to fight. The greater the challenge, the more naturally his berserker instincts emerged. Not as blind fury, but as complete commitment to the duel before him. Facing Jorgrim was a choice few would survive. There was only one thing he could respect about the warriors standing in his way: their unwavering loyalty to the man they followed. A loyalty they held without hesitation, at least until Jorgrim's axes were the last thing they ever faced. Jorgrim's strength was no longer his only advantage. His agility had improved as well. The training he had received from Leif had left its mark. He could now close the distance with remarkable speed whenever the situation demanded it. A skill that proved invaluable against opponents wielding long, two-handed weapons, denying them the space they relied on, and against skilled archers who tried to keep him at a distance. It often meant the difference between a long pursuit and a decisive duel. Every lesson learned along the journey had found its place in his fighting style. The duel ended exactly as Jorgrim had intended. The Arcanist never had the opportunity to fight on his own terms. Jorgrim forced him into close quarters, waited patiently for the right opening, and when it finally appeared, his axes fell. There was no second chance. The fortress had lost its heart, but Jorgrim was not finished. Victory alone was no longer enough. This time, he would search every corridor, every chamber, and every hidden corner of the stronghold. He had already seen what happened when survivors were left behind. He would not allow the same mistake to become tomorrow's threat. This time, the job would truly be finished. Jorgrim's story was drawing to its end. These would be the final swings of his axes, his final duels, the last choices we would witness along his journey. Because once this fortress was behind him, Jorgrim could finally continue his path with nothing left unfinished. He had faced a past that left him with countless scars, not by forgetting it, but by overcoming it. And in doing so, he became stronger than any warrior standing before him in Aldor. To some, he would always be a mercenary. To others, a hero. But to those who shared the road beside his caravan, he had become a brother. Perhaps that was what Jorgrim had truly been searching for all along. Not glory, not redemption, but companions to share the road ahead. A family worthy of the warrior who was born in Fjall and forged in Aldor.